Welcome, everybody, to my first Nuzzlocke. Technically. I've attempted Nuzlocks before, but I've never actually won one. I've been attempting in white for a while, so I decided to try a different game, taking a break from that one. So, here we are in one of my favorite remakes of the Pokemon series. Let's see how this goes. First, we have to go downstairs, and we should be able to go straight out of our house. I don't remember if this is one of the games where our mom stops us, and it is. She just has a bunch of dialogue here, gives us the nav, whatever. We talk to this Meryl, yada yada yada. Here we go. Now we can finally go choose our Pokemon and truly begin the Nuzzlocke. Alright, so all we have to do is walk over, and, right, there's the professor. He goes on all about his research and this long spiel about Pokemon and their feelings, and okay, now we can finally choose one. This is where I believe the Nuzzlocke begins. Some people start it when you get Pokeballs, but I like to start it when you pick your starter. At least it would, but I was stupid and wanted to try and reset for a shiny one. As you can see, that did not happen. I wanted to play the game. So instead, I just picked Totodile, quickly checked to make sure there were no shinies, and was on my way. And appropriately, of course, I named my Totodile Munch. Informed my mother I was taking a perilous journey with a sentient alligator, and I made my way from Route 29, not far over to Cherry Grove City. Now here we got rudely interrupted by this old man who claims to be the tour guide, and he just runs around telling you everything you already know. And then we get the shoes. Like, seriously, he sits there telling you that that's the ocean. Anyway, so we try to leave, and he interrupts us again, rude, again, and then he gives us the map, which I guess is useful, but we're not really going to be using it anyway. So now, we finally continued on to Route 30. I trained Munch a little bit against wild Pokemon, preparing for that rival battle. And with the approval of Munch, I picked up an antidote. That might be useful later. So finally, we reach Mr. Pokemon's house, and he's here with Oak. There's a long spiel of where he's explaining how it's mysterious, how Pokemon come from eggs, and how Professor Oak wants you to help him complete the Pokédex. And then it just goes on and on and on. Eventually, they let you leave. And immediately we get a call from Professor Elm that red-haired kid broke into his lab and stole a Pokemon. You'd think that a professional research lab would have a better security system. Now, after a tedious run back, we finally encounter that red-haired kid, and he wants to battle us. Now, he just robbed this place, and he's gonna be flashily showing off the Pokemon he just stole. That takes guts, so he at least gets respect there. But I'm still gonna whoop his ass. Now, at this point, I was already level 8 from all the wild battles, so all it took was a leer and a couple rages, and the Chikorita went down pretty easy. So the first battle of the Nuzzlocke didn't lose yet. That's an improvement. So after talking to the cops and appropriately naming my rival, I was able to finally leave the lab and be shown the best demonstration of how to catch a Pokemon. Just look at that skill. So after that beautiful display, I was able to get my first encounter, which was a Hoot. I obviously catch it pretty easily, and I fittingly named it Hootie. I quickly began training Hootie, so that way I would have another proficient member on my team for the time being. I then ran to the route above and got my next encounter, which was a Geodude. Now, I had no intent of using a Graveler or Golem on my final team, and I'm not really a big fan of using Geodude early on, so it's gonna be a sacrifice. Next, I went back to this route and got my next encounter, which ended up just being a duplicate. So, I tried again, and I instead ran into a Rattata, which was incredibly frustrating to catch. As you can see, just throwing balls wasn't doing me much good, so I instead decided to try and tack it. And it almost died. However, it finally stayed in the ball in red health. And I got the next team member, which I named after my chinchilla. Then, pressing forward, we encountered and thoroughly destroyed youngster Joey's level 4 Rattata, which was not difficult at all. We then also challenged youngster Joey's friend and proceeded to destroy him as well. Your pitiful Pidgey pales in comparison to the power of my owl. Yeah, I guess your Rattata's pretty weak too. Continuing our habit of beating up children for their lunch money, we also destroyed this bug catcher Dawn. We then got our next encounter on the next route, which I'm pretty sure the only option was this Bellsprout because I kept finding Hoot Hoots and Rattatas. So Dupe's Claws meant the only thing I could catch was this Bellsprout, which after I caught it, I promptly named Venus. It wasn't too difficult, but I did have to use Hypnosis to put it to sleep. I didn't want to waste any more Pokeballs, I only had like 2 left. Don't mind us skipping the cave, we'll be getting that encounter later. And as we're trying to enter Violet City, Lyra shows up and she's insistent on giving us this thing called the Versus Seeker, which I guess I might use later on for grinding, I'm not sure yet. But we're finally in Violet City, which contains the first gym of this region, of Falkner. So we'll do that next episode and let's see how it goes.